What's up guys, it's Toby here and welcome to the Manchester City Crystal Palace post-match analysis video, and I will also talk about the whole Premier League, like title race, top 4 race, top 6 race, and how the big teams are really struggling this season. It's another incredible round where Chelsea lost to a last minute Newcastle goal. Manchester City lost 2 points with a last minute own goal against Crystal Palace at home. So Crystal Palace has done it again. Back-to-back seasons they get a result away at the Etihad Stadium. So hats off to Roy Hodgson, the former Liverpool manager, and he is actually a better Liverpool manager as a Crystal Palace manager than when he was Liverpool manager, because he's doing more good for Liverpool as a Crystal Palace manager, taking points off Manchester City. Absolutely incredible this season. Arsenal couldn't win against Sheffield United. Sheffield United scored a late goal as well, and Tottenham couldn't win, and they could have even lost because Watford missed a penalty. So an incredible round, which sums up an incredible season where the underdogs, the smaller teams, are really putting the big teams to shame, especially Leicester City and Wolverhampton. I mean, Wolverhampton could easily finish in the top 4 this season. Their comeback against Southampton when they were 2-0 down at halftime and then came back to win 3-2 is a huge result, because now Wolverhampton are just 5 points behind behind Chelsea, and they are above Tottenham, they are above Arsenal in the table, and they are level on points with Manchester United, who play Liverpool next. But let's talk about the title race first and foremost, if you can even call this a title race. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Liverpool are 13 points ahead of Manchester City, having played 2 games less. Which means that if Liverpool win their 2 games in hand, Liverpool will be 19 points ahead of Manchester City. I mean, Pep Guardiola should seriously be questioned this season, because Manchester City have the biggest, the strongest, the best squad in the whole world, not just in the Premier League, but in the whole world. They bought with an incredible amount of money. I mean, they bought 2 fullbacks for a combined close to £100 million in the summer, and they could be 19 points behind Liverpool. I mean, it's absolutely a farcical season by Manchester City and by Guardiola. They are having a shocker by their own standards, because remember, Manchester City won the title last season by winning 14 games in a row, and this season they couldn't even win 4 games in a row, never mind 14. So I think the title race is almost done. If Liverpool beat Manchester United tomorrow, which I think that Liverpool have a big chance to do that, because I think the motivation by the Liverpool players will be huge. Not just because Manchester City dropped points today, but because it's Manchester United, it's Liverpool's biggest game of the season. If Liverpool beat Manchester United, I think the title race is pretty much done. I don't want to jinx it, but at this point, I don't think whatever I say I can jinx that Liverpool title race, unless Liverpool get their whole starting 11 out injured for like 4 months. Unless that happens, I think Liverpool are winning the league, because Liverpool only need to produce a 72-point season average results in the last 18 games or 17 games in the season. If Liverpool produce an average 2 points per game season, they are still winning the league, even if Manchester City win all their games. But here's the thing, Man City won't win all their games remaining, because they will concentrate on the Champions League, they will concentrate on winning the League Cup, the FA Cup, because Guardiola needs to win a trophy, at least 1, maybe even 2 trophies to save his job. And I think that Manchester City will concentrate on other competitions. Crystal Palace played a really solid defensive game, and when they had the chances, they took it. From a free kick, Crystal Palace scored a pretty decent opening goal. It was Cenk Tosun, the former Everton player, who is now at Crystal Palace, scoring a header, and that was the first chance that Crystal Palace got in the 39th minute. And this game could have been a lot different had Kevin De Bruyne scored that wonderful free kick, the free kick which bounced off the top of the, off the bottom of the crossbar and head of the line, not over the line. So that was a pretty unlucky by De Bruyne, but Manchester City huffed and puffed without actually creating loads of big chances. And the first big chance that Crystal Palace got, they have taken it, but then it came to Sergio Aguero to save Manchester City's bacon before, Manchester City were really like struggling to create a lot of big chances. I mean, Man City had a lot of shots as usual, a lot of possession. They had like 25 shots, but only 6 shots on target, which is pretty shocking finishing, to be honest. And then up comes Sergio Aguero to score 2 very, very late goals. The second goal came in the 87th minute from a Benjamin Mendy cross, and at that point Manchester City were in dreamland. Guardiola was bouncing on the touchline, he was celebrating like crazy because he thought that the momentum is with Manchester City and that they can go on a run of wins. This would have been their 4th win in a row, and as I said before, I don't think Manchester City has won 4 Premier League games in a row this season, which is shocking if you consider that last season they won 14 games in a row to win the title, and this season Manchester City, by their own standards, have been pretty shocking. A great cross by Gabriel Jesus to Aguero to make it 1-1, and then Aguero scores the 250th goal in his Manchester City career in just 360 games. A brilliant goal return by Sergio Aguero, who is, I think, the biggest legend that Manchester City has probably in their history. And that goal by Aguero really should have been a winner, but Wilfried Zaha and Crystal Palace thought otherwise. Wilfried Zaha goes on a mad run in the 90th minute. He puts in a low cross, and there was Connor Wickham, who came on as a substitute, who should have tapped it home, but Fernandinho is desperate to get a touch on the ball and to try to clear it, but Fernandinho can only divert it into his own net. And the Crystal Palace fans went crazy, and I went crazy at home watching this game, because that goal meant it's another big momentum swinger in the title race, and this just keeps the pressure piling on Manchester City. I mean, at this point they are in a race with Leicester City to just finish second, because Liverpool are in a league of their own. I can't believe I'm saying this, but after 30 years, Liverpool could win their first league title, because Manchester City are just so inconsistent, and also Liverpool have been very, very consistent. And yes, Liverpool were lucky in some games. I don't think we should have won 20 games out of 21 on the balance of play if you take into account every single game in the season. But overall, Liverpool have been by far and away the best team in the Premier League and the most consistent team in the Premier League. And what truly matters is to collect the wins and get over the line. I think that Jurgen Klopp will drum into these players that the title race is not over yet. Just take it one game at a time, try to win the next game, and then focus on the game after that. And before the Manchester United game, I think that Liverpool just will concentrate on the next game, and then we will take it one game at a time. But the reason why I'm so happy about this is that Liverpool can pretty much concentrate on the Champions League as well. It's weird to say this, but Manchester City are so inconsistent, and also Leicester City as well have dropped off a little bit recently, that Liverpool can probably field a second team in some games before and after the Champions League games and still win the title. Because I honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Liverpool can afford to lose 6 games. Yes, we can afford to lose 6 games this season and still win the title. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely, like, how did this happen? I will tell you how. Manchester City had some key injuries at the beginning of the season. Leroy Sané and Laporte, two of their best players, got injured. Yes, that's true. But that's just an excuse for Guardiola, because Liverpool have Fabinho out injured. Joe Gomez was our only fit centre-back apart from Van Dijk for months now. We have Matip and Lovren out injured. We have Fabinho out injured. We have Naby Keita out injured. We had Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain missing with injury. The only players, and this is very key, the only players for Liverpool who didn't get long-term injuries are Trent Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Salah, Mane and Firmino. I mean, they didn't miss probably more than 2 weeks this season. And I think Liverpool needed this, because I think those players, the fullbacks, the front three, I think those players Liverpool can't replace. We don't have nowhere near as good a right back as a backup as Trent Alexander-Arnold. We have nowhere near as good a left back as Robertson as our backup. We have James Milner, we have Larouci, we have Nathaniel Klein, who is also out injured. And I think that Liverpool were in key positions a little bit luckier than Manchester City with injuries, but also Liverpool coped much better with injuries. And I think that Liverpool's squad players stepped up to the plate a lot more. I mean, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Shaqiri has come in and played some games quite well. Naby Keita, when he played, he was really brilliant. And they are not regular players. Origi, when he came in, he scored 2 goals against Everton. In the only league game where Liverpool conceded 2 goals, we needed Divock Origi to step up big time. And boy, did he step up. So Liverpool have been by far and away the best team in the Premier League. And I think we will very deservedly win the title. We should have probably won the title last season if it wasn't for Manchester City's incredible run of 14 wins in a row. What I want for this Liverpool team is to win the title in style. I want this to be like a 10-point margin at least. And at this rate, it will be disappointing if it's only 10 points at the end of the season, because at the moment we are 19 points ahead of Manchester City if you just count the dropped points. That's incredible. That's almost like we are just past the halfway stage of the season and Liverpool are almost 20 points ahead. That's 6 games plus 1 draw. So we can actually lose 6 games and still win the title. Unreal, unbelievable. Let me know what they think about the title race. And also, I wanted to tell you guys that Chelsea are very inconsistent. Newcastle had a game plan. They defended for like 85 minutes. They had like 2 attacks. They hit the post through Joelinton. And then in the 94th minute, from a cross, after a failed corner, Newcastle wins the game in the 90th minute. And it looks like that Newcastle will stay up. They are level on points with Arsenal on 29 points. And many feared for Newcastle after Rafa Benitez left for China, for a Chinese club. But Newcastle under Steve Bruce have been really tough and really solid, and they are just nicking results many times. And Chelsea also, even though they have a lot of young players, they really should be doing much better. The good news for Chelsea is that the other top teams are very inconsistent. I mean, Arsenal, 1 win in the last 5 games. Tottenham, 1 win in the last 5 games. Manchester United, yes, they won 3 games of the last 5, but they also lost the other 2, and they will play Liverpool. So if Man United, which they should be losing to Liverpool, but if they get a point, they will be just 4 points behind Chelsea. And considering how inconsistent Manchester United have been, it's incredible that they are still in this race for the top 4. And also, as I said, Wolverhampton, Sheffield United, they are also in with a shout to finish at least in the top 6. And I think if I was a betting man, I would bet on Wolverhampton finishing in the top 6 and maybe Sheffield United finishing in like 7th or 8th place. And I think the next fixture, I mean in the Premier League, Chelsea-Arsenal, what a big game that is. If Arsenal lose there, wow, I think that the top 4 is almost done for them. But if Arsenal win away at Stamford Bridge, which is very unlikely, but it can happen because Chelsea lost many times already this season, then the top 4 race is really on. I don't know what to make of Tottenham. I mean, even with Mourinho, they are so inconsistent. The only positive for Tottenham is that they finally kept a clean sheet, but that was only because Gazzaniga saved a Troy Deeney penalty, and also Tottenham were a little bit unlucky because in the 92nd or 93rd minute they could have won it if it wasn't for a last-ditch clearance by a Watford defender when the ball was like halfway across over the line, but it wasn't fully over and it wasn't a goal, so the game ended in a 0-0 draw. And also Tottenham on 31 points after 23 games. Incredible bad season Tottenham are having. I mean, it's just insane that that Chelsea are as close to the relegation zone as they are as close to Liverpool. Wow, and Chelsea are in fourth place. What a chance for Leicester City as well. If they win tomorrow away at Burnley, they will be level on points with Manchester City, and they can also extend their lead over to teams like Manchester United and Wolverhampton, who sit in 5th place, joint 5th, to how many points is that? Like 16 points. Incredible, honestly. Like Leicester City is 16 points ahead of Manchester United and Wolverhampton. So it's almost guaranteed that Leicester and Manchester City will finish in the top 4. And I can't wait for next season to see how Leicester City will be doing in the Champions League with Brendan Rodgers. That will be one hell of a ride for them, that's for sure. And I think the big teams are in turmoil. Chelsea, of course, with the rookie manager Frank Lampard, they are in a transitional period. Manchester United, Tottenham, Arsenal, also all in transitional periods. So this has been just a blessing for Liverpool that almost all of the big teams are struggling. I mean, Manchester City, to their own high standards of the previous 2 seasons, are also struggling, and Liverpool are taking full advantage. Let's hope that we can beat Manchester United, but even if we don't, we have the knowledge that we can lose 6 games and still win the title. I don't think that Liverpool will lose 6 games. We have only lost 1 game in the last 1.5 seasons. 0 losses in the last 38 Premier League games. Incredible run. I really hope that Liverpool go unbeaten this season, but why it's a little bit unlikely is that when Liverpool will focus on the Champions League, we will probably play our second team in the Premier League when the title race is already over and we are mathematically guaranteed to win the title. And that's where I see Liverpool maybe losing 1 or 2 games. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's just beat Manchester United and take 1 game at a time. But I think this has been a really, really awesome day for Liverpool, and also incredibly not for any of the other top 6 sides. So I'm really hoping that you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.